All right, question 2. An experimenter is rolling 2 fair dice. State the sample space. So what can happen? So on die number 1, we can get a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, or 6. And on die 2, we can have the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So here's my sample space. There's a total of 36 equally likely outcomes. I'm not going to make this whole chart out, but you can see there's a total of 36 outcomes. This would be a 1 and a 1, this would be a 1 and a 2, 1 and a 3, 1 and a 4, 1 and a 5, 1 and a 6. I'll go ahead and do it all out. 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, and 3, 6, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, and then 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, and 6, 6. So that's the answer to part A. For part B, it says, find the probability of getting a sum of a 3. So a sum of a 3 would be what? I could get a 2 and a 1, or I can get a 1 and a 2. That's it, right? A 2 or a 1, or a 1 and a 2. So those are the only ways to make a 3. So the probability of getting a sum of 3 is going to be, well, there's 2 ways to make it happen out of 36 possibilities, which gives me 1 out of 18. Part C, find the probability of the first die is a 4. So the probability that the first die is a 4 and then anything else. Okay, well, what can happen? Well, I can get a 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, or 4, 6. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways that it can happen out of 36 possibilities, which is 1 out of 6. So there's C. For D, it says find the probability of getting the sum of an 8. So where are my 8s? It can be a 6, 2, 6, 3. I'm sorry, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5, or 2, 6. Those all add up to 8. So therefore, the probability that the sum is an 8 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 ways to make that happen out of 36 possibilities. For E, find the probability of getting the sum of a 3 or the sum of an 8. Probability of a 3 or an 8 for the sum. Okay, well, there's 8 ways to make the 8. There's 2 ways to make the 3. So the probability of the 3 or the 8 would be the 2 ways plus the 5 ways out of 36, which is 7 out of 36. Find the probability of getting this, oh, that was E. So there's E. And then F, find the probability of getting the sum of the 3 or the first die is a 4. All right, so sum of 3 or the first die is a 4. Okay, well, there's a total of 6 ways to get the first die being a 4. And remember, we don't have to worry about any of these being double counted with the sum of a 3, because if the first die is a 4, we can't have the sum of 3. So there's a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to get the first die to be a 4. And then there's 2 ways to get a sum of a 3. They don't overlap, so I get a total of 8 ways out of 36, which reduces to, what, 2/9? Divide them both by 4? Yeah, so that's going to be 2 out of 9. For G, it says the sum of getting an 8 or the first die is a 4. Now we have to be careful here because the sum of an 8 includes that one right there. So remember, for this, we're going to do the probability of A or B is the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. So I've got to subtract out that overlap. So the probability, so we're going to do the probability of the sum of an 8 or the first die is a 4. So the sum of the 8 is total of 5 out of 36, plus the sum, the first die is a 4, which is 6 out of 36, but I have to subtract out the double counted one. So that's 1 out of 36. Subtract that away, so there's a total of, 11 minus 1 is 10 out of 36. And that reduces to 5/18. And then for H, find the probability of not getting a sum of 8. So that's the probability of 8 complement, right? Well, the probability of getting the sum of the 8 is 5 out of 36, so we have 1 minus 5 out of 36. So what is that? 36 minus, so that's 31 out of 36 ways. So here's my 5 ways to get the sum of the 8, and then everything else is not a sum of an 8. So therefore, there's a total of 31 ways to make that happen.